Good morning, everyone. Today in English, we're going to have a think about how our tadpoles have changed over the last few weeks. So I'm calling today's work Frog Diary. And if you look carefully, this is the pond in my garden where the tadpoles came from. And there, if you look really closely, you can see one of the mummy frogs in the pond after she laid those eggs. Okay, let's have a little think. So our tadpoles have changed since the very week they were born. Here's week 1, and you can remember those little jelly eggs, those tiny black dots that were surrounded with a ball of jelly to protect them, all stuck together. And I decided to write this. Let's read it. I hope I've remembered my capital letters and full stops. The frogs laid hundreds of eggs in the pond. Oh, I did do a full stop there. That was the end of my first sentence. Capital letter. The eggs had a black ball shape in the middle and jelly all around them. And I've used, if you can remember, when we use our word and to join two ideas together. So I've made this sentence here, the eggs had a black ball shape in the middle, a little bit longer by saying something else about that sentence. And jelly all around them. So that was week 1. Right, let's have a look now at week 2. Can you remember that tiny tadpole when they hatched out? Oh yeah, and they had those little feathery gills. Now I haven't finished this sentence here, so I'm going to finish it now. I started like this. Some tiny tadpoles. Pause the video now, and I'll do the same. And have a little think what we could say next. Okay, I wonder what you thought about some tiny tadpoles. Here's what I'm going to say. Some tiny tadpoles hatched. Hatch. Oh, and that's an ED ending. Hatched. Out. Ow. Shout it out. Of the eggs. Okay, some tiny tadpoles hatched out of the eggs. I think I'll just add a little bit more. Move that picture up a little bit because I want to mention those feathery gills. Some tiny tadpoles hatched out of the eggs. Capital T. They had feathery. That's a very tricky word. Feathery. They had feathery gills. To help them breathe in the water. I'm going to read that back and make sure it makes sense. Some tiny tadpoles hatched out of the eggs. They had feathery gills to help them breathe in the water. Yeah. Okay, we've had week 1, week 2. Let's have a little look at week 3. Here we've got the little heading again. Have you noticed on all the weeks so far, I've put that little heading in the corner with a line under so it stands out a little bit. Week 1, week 2, week 3. So, oh yes, I can remember now. Those tails were getting longer. The tadpoles grew long tails and the tadpoles grew long tails and they kind of like staying together then, didn't they? And stayed together, a better letter, and stayed together in a group. They sort of all stayed together when they hatched out. The tadpoles grew long tails and stayed together in a group. Oh, I know. They ate their jelly and some pond weed. Yeah. The tadpoles grew long tails and stayed together in a group. They ate their jelly and some pondweed. Okay, right, week 4. Now I haven't got anything here, so I want you to pause the video. This is when I decided to put in some lettuce, do you remember? And they were really hungry. They enjoyed eating that lettuce and it helped them to grow. So pause the video and have a think what you could write. Okay, I wonder what you said. I'm sure it was a good idea. I'm going to say the tadpoles grew bigger. The tadpoles grew bigger because we remembered a little saying to help us spell because. I wonder if you can remember it now. Can you remember? It's big elephants can always understand small elephants. B for big, F for elephants, K for can, A for always, U for understand, S small elephants. Because the tadpoles grew bigger because they ate lots of lettuce. I think I'll put an exclamation mark there. We'll shout that little bit out. The tadpoles grew bigger because they ate lots of lettuce. Okay, we are on to week 5. And week 5 was last week. Can you remember? It was really exciting because we saw the tadpoles beginning to grow their back legs. And also, do you remember we saw the tadpoles' little kind of teeth? That was exciting. Okay, you can think about this last picture yourself because this is what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to use this to help you, and you can go back and look at the pages, and I want you to write your very own frog diary so far. So in your diary, you can either have a page for every week and draw a lovely picture and do some writing about it, or you can do all of your work on one piece of paper, but I want to see 5 weeks with pictures drawn by you to show how the tadpoles have changed, and it would be lovely to see some sentences for every picture. I've written in blue some words to help you. Frog spawn, that's another word for frog eggs. Feathery gills. Longer tails. Changed colour. Do you remember they weren't as black as they were more of a greeny brown colour at week 4. And week 5, back legs. I will put over here as well, just so you've got it, the word tadpoles, because tadpoles, you might use that quite a lot. Tad. Let's Fred talk. Tad. Tad. Tadpole. And the O is O, phone home. So it's O, with the E at the end. And if you want to make it plural, more than one tadpole, we add an S, don't we? Tadpoles. So that should help you. So that would be lovely if you do some lovely work, pictures and writing. Please send your work to Miss Carissa if you're in Hull 2 and send it to me if you're in Hull 1. We'd love to see it. Bye for now, everyone.